the General Gowon Yakubu Stadium. They refused us. But let me say, next time we will do this. If you don't approve it, we will break it by force. Morale, nobody got it moral like we go. Morale, nobody got it moral. I say moral. Yeah, nobody got it moral like we. Yeah, morale, nobody got it moral. So, the coordinator of the state, right again to the state government, Tuesday day, we inaugurate the world level. I want to say to everybody to hear, enough is enough. We are all from River State. Nobody can deny us the facilities of the state. If you don't agree to give us, we will do the useful and we'll take it by force. Heaven will never fall. Even when heaven falls, everywhere will be at peace. Thank you, and God bless you. If they don't like you, somebody.
Federal Capital Territory Minister and former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, there publicly threatening to use force to access the Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Port Harcourt. The Rivers State government continues to deny, allegedly, his political group permission to use the facility. Now, this particular threat was during a political, called out a rally, that was precisely Friday, January 30, 2026, where Wike declared that if his group, the Renewed Hope ambassadors, are denied access again, they will, you heard from him there, quote, break it by force, then a quote, to certain that, quote, heaven will not fall, then a quote. And yes, Wike's group, according to him, had applied to use the stadium for a pro-Tinubu rally, but they were allegedly rejected. Now, due to this, the inauguration of their local coordinators was moved to the Captain Lechi Madi Polytechnic. And the Rivers State government, though, in responding to this, through Sports Commissioner Chris Green, denied blocking the rally. They said that no formal application was received, and that the stadium is currently an active construction site undergoing major renovations to meet FIFA standards, making that facility unsafe for public use at the moment. This particular clash is the latest in the months, maybe years of escalation, political escalation, when it comes to the political rift between the former governor Nyesom Wike and his successor, Governor Sim Fubara. Welcome to Homo Politicus. Many thanks for joining me today on the broadcast. I'm very pleased to welcome you to the conversation. Kingsley Bass is my name. Welcome again. Let's begin the conversation. To welcome my guest today on the broadcast, barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, constitutional lawyer, Evans Ufeli. He joins me virtually for this conversation. Many thanks for joining me.
Very well.
All right, there you go. Let's get your thoughts on the comments of the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike.
Is making they are quite not civil. Wike is exhibiting a very high sense of incivility. For one who weighs such influence, and for one who many people look up to, it's quite very unfortunate that he's making such statements as to forcing himself through process. And if they don't get whatever they want, they will take it by force. The heavens will not fall. And if the heavens fall, everywhere will still be calm and the rest of that. Those are statements of violence. Those statements depict statements that comes usually from house or city urchins. And that should not be coming from a leader, because it speaks volume as to who is he leading and what exactly is the essence of the gathering. If he's going to be threatening the state government and be threatening people in the public, in an open space like that, where you have a lot of people who he influences. That is inciting the people,
Hmm.
inciting the public, to say the
Hmm.
least. And people may run with that ideology, and that is how politics works. And it works on the basis of violence, strife, okay, and those kind of statements that can incite the public generally. This wicked that is talking about all these things is the same person. If you remember in 2023, when the opposition wanted to use the facilities of the state, Magnus Abe, Tonyeko, and some other opponents, he didn't allow them to use public facilities. Yes. So in the same coin, he's facing the same thing he did to others. Is what they are doing to him now, and he can't take it. Whereas he did it to other persons. Okay, okay, those public facilities are for events. Okay, so you cannot say because you are a political opponent, you will hold it swear, hold it to ransom in such a way that nobody is able to have access to it. That is what he did in 2023. Okay, and in the same measure, they are giving it to him exactly as he did it. And it's finding it very difficult to fathom or to absorb. So you do unto others what you feel it will do unto you. I'm
Hmm.
not saying that the state is right, okay? And I do not know the reason the state didn't allow them to use the stadium, okay?
The state
Whether
has
they went to,
they have responded. They claim the River State government claims that they never received a formal application. As a matter of fact, they said that the stadium is currently undergoing construction. So it's difficult now to say who's telling the truth. Nyesom Wike and his group say, oh, they did apply for the use of the stadium. The state government say, I mean, we've been constructing this facility. How do you want to use that? And by the way, they say they did not receive, the application for that. That's the response of the state government.
yeah, so it is war against theirs. If they made application and the application was rejected, it should show proof that this is the application we made on social date and was addressed to the above persons or institutions. And this is the rejection letter that we got thereafter. Okay, dated so day. Uh, so that should be put forth because it's not enough to use everything as politics. Now, what it's trying to do is to create bad blood, to create hate, to use it to, find the embers of political engagement and look like a victim, to buy sympathy, public sympathy. And that's what UK is doing. It's a psychological thing, is the manipulation, political manipulation is what it's trying to do. So that when he appears as a victim, when he gets to the state and he wants to have a rally to bring people together, they will sympathize with him, having been vilified by the state and all that way. So it's a psychological political manipulation, which is uh, common in the political scene in Nigeria. They just use that to see how they can tweak the public and then change narrative, then have their way in the long run.
This is one of
That
the
is just exactly
reasons,
what they're doing.
perhaps, Wike's statement that he made at that rally is probably one of the reasons why many have said that his public demeanor has not been ministerial in any way, and some have called for the president to dismiss him so that this would not cause further embarrassment, not just to the administration but to the government. Is this one of such reasons to why those calls might be renewed?
Of course, because we've seen his interaction with the general public, even in the FCT. We've seen his interaction, we've seen his antecedent, his relationship with those who made him, okay, those who paved the way politically for him, Okay, we've seen how he has fought on, vilified, you know, tangled, and you know, and he has done all sorts. So when people say that his countenance, his public demeanor is not ministerial, there is nothing short for the truth. It's not ministerial. The demeanor of one who is out there to serve is not there. Okay, he's either out there to impose himself, impose his ideas, and to make sure that he tells you to your face that you can do nothing about it,
Mm.
and that he will keep getting whatever he wants. Okay, and that is not politics.
But by the way,
That is
let's just
violence.
quickly, pardon me, let's just quickly track back to the comments before this particular question, and that's the the approval or the receipt of this request by Wike's group, Wike's camp, if you like, to the state government, or by the state government, the request to the state government for the use of the Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. What does the law say regarding uh, requests like this and approvals? Does the state government not, let's admit without conceding that they've said they did not receive the request and that site is under construction. Let's just paint a picture where this site, according to the state government, is not under construction and that they received that request. Does the state government not have the right to, for some reason, refuse the group the use of a government facility for reasons that might be best known to the state?
If the state government have reasons to refuse anyone from using public facility, and you can't force yourself into them, you can't bring the heavens down. You can only go to court to seek redress because whatever it is, you can only use either an administrative panel, use the state house of assembly for a quasi-judicial function, or use a judicial front. So get redress. That's exactly what you can do. You can't do any other thing. Even if the state did not give reason, you still can't bring the heavens down. Okay, because it's public facility. Because it's public facility does not mean that everybody can have access to it, or everybody can just jump into it and start to use it without authorization. Authorization is critical, and when authorization is sought but not granted, yeah, you look for a way to seek redress. If you must use the venue. And besides, that's not the only venue in the state. That's not the only public facility in the state. You can go apply to other public facilities if you want to look at it objectively. Okay, that is not to say that the state government should refuse applicants the use of those facilities. If they have a reason to say no, you can't impose yourself. You can't understep that to then say that next time, if you ask for it and they not give you, you will force yourself. What you are saying is that you're going to take the laws into your hands. Okay? What you are saying is that you will throw caution to the wind
Yeah.
and you will engage in activities that will likely breach public peace. That's exactly what they're saying.
Yeah, talking
And such threats should not be taken lightly.
Yeah, talking the law some more, yeah. Let's talk about what the criminal code provides and how the criminal code defines forcible entry. I think around section 81, the criminal code defines forcible entry as a misdemeanor punishable by imprisonment. You've expressed how the high-ranking federal official like the Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike can justify such public threat to break into the state-run facility. But what danger lies in this? I'm talking in breach of the criminal code. Let's just say that the Federal Capital Territory Minister decides to make do his threat.
Yeah, the penalties are there. It can be arrested. Okay. As a minister, he does not have immunity under the law. Okay. He used to have immunity under Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. That was when he was the governor of Rivers State. But today, he does not have such kind of immunity. Maybe he has forgotten. As a minister, you don't have such immunity. So he can be arrested and charged for the offense. Okay, it doesn't matter whether he's still a serving minister or not. If he make good his promise, okay, or his threats to force himself in, he will liable the relevant sections of the criminal code, okay, and he will be brought to justice. First, to serve as deterrent to, in society, and then secondly, to enforce the rule of law itself, because we cannot keep a society where people will come out and make threats and get away with it. As we speak already, he has already committed an offense by the threat that he's going to take it going by force. He has already committed an offense or an alleged offense. So the Rivers State government should start to process his arrest because such threats, when they are not addressed, can grow into a monster. And then when it becomes a franking style, that will affect the entire political landscape when he makes good such threats. To affect public order, public peace. It will also truncate uh, due process and the rule of law. And then in the long run, it will affect the public in terms of the economy of that state. Okay, so that threat needs to be addressed properly. No one have the right under a law to threaten another person or an institution and get away with it or get scot free.
Well,
The state should not take it lightly.
So what can the state do? What can the state do then? To the former governor and the serving minister.
What the state can do is to process his arrest him and prosecute him. Yes, we think that because someone is the former governor and the serving minister, is above the law. That is where that is how we kill our society. So once you have been a minister, you have been a governor, you are now above the law. You cannot make utterances that are repugnant. You can now, throw caution to the wind and do things anyhow you like, just because you used to be a governor and now you're a minister. And it's clear from our law that you have no immunity. So why can't a serving minister be arrested and prosecuted? Why? Why not? In South Africa, a former president, after his tenure, was arrested, prosecuted, and sentenced. As long as the offense is backed up with evidence, and the evidence was proven in court beyond reasonable doubt, the culpability must lie accordingly. And that is the only way to raise a standard society where the law is working without fear of favor, where everyone is placed under the law and not above it. So you will have a society that will become developed and have all the trappings of the first world nation when it does not follow its own law. If a country cannot follow its own law, cannot enforce its own law, it has nothing to show.
Right.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else it can show.
There are certain persons, particularly from the Wike camp, I'm talking even supporters, who might not necessarily follow him day to day, along with his men to this rally. But there's certain persons now questioning the government, or the state governors rather, that's Fubara's commitment to President Bola Tinubu as the reason for the denial. Some, have said that, denying those who equally support the president's re-election bid. Access to public funded state infrastructure should be, that's not good, and that it should be contingent upon the sitting governor's political loyalty to the federal the administration, whom he claims to support. What do you say regarding that?
No, but the state have come out to say they did not sustain. That's the defense. I think the state did that purposely for this question you asked me, to insulate itself from the crafty manipulation of Wike. But what Wike was trying to do is to create problems between Fubara and the president. Because since Fubara have direct access to the president now, by virtue of his defection to APC, okay, Wike have not been happy about this development. He's been looking for ways to make sure that he puts a clog in the wheel of that relationship between Fubara and the president, so that he can feast on that to validate his enmity with Fubara. That is what he's doing. Okay, or that's what he's trying to do. Okay, so the state coming out to make a public statement that it did not in any way stop the governor from using public facilities is to put it out there that this man is just passing out wrong information, or that is making this up. That's exactly this politics. What's happening is politics. It's pure politics. You know, we have been going about saying agreements. Agreements like that. The agreement Mubarak entered into with him and the president when he was removed during the state of emergency last year, and that those agreements must stand. And part of the agreement was that he was not going to contest again. Okay, which he all has absorbed, which Mubarak absorbed at that. And he did that because he was negotiating for a place of weakness outside government and needed to be reinstated. And having been reinstated, he defected to the APC and now have direct access to the president. The president even need him more than Wike. The president need him now because as a governor, he has capacity to mobilize for the president for the next election. Okay, and so
looks like Wike can match the capacity if you go by what we see in the rallies, the numbers.
Yeah, you can say that. You can say that, but you know that many of the rallies Wike's organizing are money induced. Most of those crowds are paid. Okay, they are not organic. And because if you are going to do a rally in a place where you have largely poor people, you are giving 5,000 naira, you are giving 3,000 naira. The whole stadium will be filled up. Okay? But you see that the same party that comes with Mubarack's outing is quite organic. So don't be swayed by the crowd. Or don't say that we can manage that capacity by virtue of what you are saying. You don't know what has gone on there. And they do not trust poor people. You cannot trust a poor man because a poor man is swayed by his survival. And the first law of human existence is survival. So if I want to go to a place now and I dish out funds, asking people to come out, and on the basis of that value, they all assemble, anticipating more because I promise more. And they go wake up all their friends and their brothers and sisters and even the dead people in their compound. They go to the grave and wake all of them to come for the rally. And the whole place is jammed. I interpret that to mean the person is so loved and have capacity to match a serving governor and the rest of that. Even Tinubu himself, the president, knows the game. He knows the game now. I mean, we during the 2020 election, we saw bishops, fake bishops. The politicians know how to mobilize. So he knows the game. It's a game that they are all playing
Hmm.
in concert. They know it how to do it. Okay. So at the end of the day, that cannot be the true test of popularity because you are
Let's
being held.
yeah. Let's talk about the president since you've just mentioned the president, right? Again, there have been several calls, and some persons have further accused the president of continuously looking the other way when the Federal Capital Territory Minister do things like this. With this threat to bypass state authority with force, you have said that this could possibly incite civil unrest or even violent clashes between rival supporters in the state that is already volatile. Do you think that, considering that we might have an even more volatile political climate when as we approach the primaries for parties, do you think that the president needs to do something decisive? Maybe speak to his supporters, not just the Federal Capital Territory Minister, but speak to his supporters generally, in political parties across board, to speak with their supporters to say, just play by the books, go by the rules, of the land. Do not go overboard. Or do you think they would continue to rely on this, tactics, threats of violence and even violence to win the elections by force?
You see, politicians need both both sides. Politicians, you know, in Nigeria, they need both peace and violence. If you are telling a politician to go and to be firm and be straight-jacketed on an issue, he will tell you it's okay, he has heard you. You understand? He'll tell you he has heard you. But when he looks at the situation, he feels the situation should come with a measure of iron hand and a measure of civility. So he starts to play around the situation. So that's why they are not always firm on issues. Okay? He starts to look at the political value of what you are telling him, that standing firm to caution Wike, what will be the political outcome? Will it in any way give him value as a president or as one who is contesting the next election? Or will it stall his prospects to clinch on, to take over River State? So either by peaceful expression or by forceful takeover, the politician is good by both. He's good at, he doesn't want to be called rude and doesn't want to be called bad.
Hmm.
So he plays in between. That is why in politics, there's no black and white. If you want to apply black and white in politics, you will likely fail. So they stay on the gray side. It's neither black nor white. And they stay on that gray side, begin to manipulate and politic.
Hmm.
You understand? So even the president doesn't look like he has capacity to caution Wike. It doesn't look really so. And even when he does, Wike itself is not amenable. He's not amenable. He's subservient to the president. It's just because of the ministerial portfolio that he has. That is why he's subservient to the president. Otherwise, um, if
Yeah, well, I suppose a bit of a technical challenge. Hopefully, we can have him reconnected as we begin to wrap the conversation on Homo Politicus today. Well, we've been talking about the threat by the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike, saying that the next time they request for the use of the facility in the state, in Rivers State, that he would, and that request is not granted by the state government, they would forcibly gain entry into the facility. Or that is what we're having a conversation about today. I've got a constitutional lawyer, barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, Vance Ufeli, joining me, Normal Politicals, talking about this. Well, as we wrap the conversation, just a few days ago, the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress was, speaking with the media, and he mentioned the fact that they're in talks, that the leadership of the All Progressives Congress is in talks with Nyesom Wike as to how to approach things come 2027, as part of the elections coming in 2027. It appears, the party is beginning to soften its initial stance, particularly the National Secretary, who was in some war of words with the Federal Capital Territory Minister some weeks back. What do you see happening here? You've just mentioned the fact that the politician, plays its best or their best interest. But what do you think is happening here, really? They seem to be aligning for a common goal.
That is the APC?
Yes. The National Secretary has said, he was, that's Bashir, he was in some war of words with Wike some weeks back. He has now said that the party leadership is in talks with Nyesom Wike to resolve what matter they have, going between them.
Yes, yeah, because Wike made an attempt to have him do certain things. He was of the view that Wike was not a member of the APC, and so that created a problem. And now the natural thing to do is that, given that Wike still have political value, and even though he's not an APC, he has a tendency, he has destroyed PDP. And destroying PDP was uplifting APC. So he has really worked for APC by destroying PDP. So the natural thing the leaders of the APC will say or do is to say that they are having talks with Wike to resolve the issue.
There you go. All right, so let's leave things there as we wrap the conversation today on Homo Politicals. We've been speaking with constitutional lawyer, barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Yes, even in that rally, we saw the state chairman of the People's Democratic Party, who belongs to the Wike camp, and the factional chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, who was there. Both gentlemen on stage on the podium, addressing the crowd that was there for that particular event. Well, we'll keep monitoring the development in Rivers State and bring those your way. It's been Homo Politicals today on Enterprise Television. Many thanks for watching. As mentioned, politics begins, if you like, it gets heated gradually. Parties will need to put together their houses to, produce candidates for different positions they wish to contest across board, from the state houses of assembly to the federal, the assembly, federal, lawmaking body. I'm talking the House of Representatives, the National Assembly, and the rest. But as we wrap the conversation, Barrister Vance Ufeli, let's talk, too, about particularly the fact that we had both the PDP chairman of Rivers State and the factional chairman of the All Progressives Congress working with Nyesom Wike while they, during that rally, inaugurated state coordinators for the campaign body that Wike is fronting for the re-election of President Bola Tinubu. Looks really like Wike has gotten the grip of the political structure in Rivers State, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think he's forcing himself to entrench that pack so that the president does not hand it over to Fubara. That's exactly what he's doing. Because ordinarily, since Fubara is the governor of the state and a huge political allegiance has been, pushed his way He was supposed to be steering that ship, okay, for the president. But what Wike did, the moment, Mubarak defected to APC, he didn't want to sit back and watch Mubarak start mobilizing for the president while he's in Abuja. So he left Abuja immediately, rushed down to River State, and started that mobilization ahead of any decision to make Mubarak to have that. Because whatever makes Mubarak to have that will power Mubarak more, to make him more popular, to become more visible at the center. And then we'll now be taking directive from the president to be pushing that narrative. And Wike will be sidelined, or he will look sidelined. That is why he took up that thing immediately, and he's pushing it, he's spending a lot of money to sustain it, so that no one is appointed to do that while he's there, and all that. Is one dangerous political calculation that's coming very early to take over the stratosphere, the political atmosphere for the president.
Because of time, let's quickly
that
look.
is fully done.
Yes. Yes, please conclude on your thoughts real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just going to say that because of time, let's quickly wrap the conversation with one last question.
I can hear you.
Yes, with Tony Okocha, the factional chairman of the Pro-Progressive Congress in Rivers State, working with Nyesom Wike. That's the one recognized by the party. There's the Chief Emeka Beke faction as well, but not recognized by the party, even though they say that the true leadership of the party in the state going by court injunctions or court orders. Well, that matter is still very much in court. They're still trying to sort themselves. But looking into the future real quick in some 60 seconds, how can Governor Fubara get the second-term ticket he's seeking, of the Pro-Progressive Congress? If Tony Okocha, the one recognized by the party, the leadership in the state, is working with Nyesom Wike, and Nyesom Wike does not want Fubara to be governor again.
He can get this. He can get the ticket because the APC River State are working with Fubara. I mean, you could say fashion or whatever it is, but generally, the issue statement, even when Fubara was being impeached, when the State House came up with the impeachment proceedings, the APC issued a statement. APC River State issued a statement warning the State House. Okay, shielding Fubara. So, as long as Fubara,
that wasn't the Tony Okocha faction, though.
The APC political structure. I know, but that will not deprive him. Okay, Wike is not a member of the APC, even though he wields influence in what is going on. But at the same time, I don't see him undercutting Fubara. If the president has given Fubara the go-ahead of the president, accepted his candidacy, and even APC at the center accepted his candidacy. And remember, he's now the leader of the political of APC in River State. He is the one that will give instruction to the chairman, and not the other way around. So whoever is the right chairman, whether the BK or the other one, will take instruction from Fubara as the leader of the party.
All right.
And the center also stands